Welcome to TMI Today with Rita and Jen Lee. In this podcast, there is no such thing as too much information. We are diving into all of the taboo topics, from money and careers to relationships and parenting, to whatever else we've been too afraid to discuss as women. Listen in and join the movement as we raise each other up in our everyday lives.
Hi, and welcome to TMI. It's Rita and Jen Lee. Jen Lee is the financial stress extraordinaire. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at my words this morning. Financial stress reduction attorney extraordinaire. Sometimes I get excited like a little girl because I'm so excited about having our guest today, Jen, aren't you? Right?
I am super excited. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I am too.
Yay, Carol. Look at you speaking up. Hi, Carol. So Carol Feeley is a high performance coach. And if you think that you don't need a high performance coach in your life, like I need right now, you know what? I think she's going to shed some insight. That's what today's motivational insights, TMI, right? There's never too much information when you're hitting that information that is key and vital to give us the insights to flourish wherever we are. So I'm excited to introduce Carol Feeley today, and she is that high performance coach. So, turning ordinary people into extraordinary people by the conversations that we have. And conversations are what connect us, and we can either evolve upward and make that strong connection, or, it's the spiral downward and disconnect. So I know that as times are getting tough in the world, or seem to be, actually you can create that change in your world with your words, especially by connecting with Carol. So Carol, welcome. We're super excited to have you here today.
I am super excited to be here. And yes, I changed from the ordinary to the extraordinary in your mindset. I really think it's really important to be aware of what you're thinking. And I really clear the blind spots away so that people can have a better life. And that's really what I do, is really clear up the chatter that we always tell ourselves. And really, I teach people how to think.
Yeah. And how did that all come about? What
I know, right?
Where you are, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking about right now.
You don't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be a high performance coach. So for 14 years, I was a preschool teacher. I loved it. I loved it.
Fascinating.
I was the funny Miss Carol. And I loved it. Always going to trainings to, be a better teacher, how to have fun and learn at the same time. However, after 14 years, well, actually probably about the 12th year, I'm like itching to kind of get out of the four walls. And then all of a sudden somebody calls me, my friend, and she says, Carol, I want you to come to this meeting. I had no idea what it was. Couldn't go because it was during my work hours. She called me, no joke, 3 times. I said, okay, Nancy, I'm going to go to this meeting. Lo and behold, I didn't know that meeting was going to change my world. I walked in the door of Toastmasters. And I am currently a 10-year Toastmaster. And after I started really doing my speeches, and, I was also working in the district, and I had just a world of people supporting me supporting them. It was so funny. After a whole year of Toastmasters, I finally did what I really always wanted to do. Every year, the church would have the mission call, always yearning to go. Well, in 2013, I said yes, after a year in Toastmasters. So really, Toastmasters is about building courage. And that's what I do for my clients, is build courage. And so from there, about 6 weeks, or not 6 weeks, 6 years into Toastmasters, I told my friend Richard and Suraj, my Toastmaster friends, we're going to do a workshop. I called it Design Your Life. It was interactive. It was fun. I got 31 people in the seats. And at the end of that workshop, 5 people said yes to coaching. And that is what got me on the roll. And I love it. And I'm speaking. I'm also an author. So I love just helping people be better than they are and really seeing their blind spots. I'm really intuitive to see their blind spots of how they can improve their life. And that's what I love to do.
I love it. It makes, it's what makes your heart sing, right?
Yeah. And I wake up every morning going, who can I impact today? Whether they're my client or whether they're just a passing passenger passing by, you know, or whatnot. It's in me. It's in me. And I have to be careful because I tend to coach people so now I'm learning to ask for permission.
So, Carol, I have to ask, what are some of the misconceptions out there? I think like coaching gets such a bad name sometimes because it's so broad, such a broad topic. But what are some of the myths and misconceptions you see with your clients when they first meet you and talk about high performance coaching?
I don't need coaching. I can do it. You know, I just have to like get in and do my goals, and I can do it. They think they can do it alone. Well, the reason I believe in coaching so much because I have had coaching for the last 5-6 years. I've had a coach, and that's how you just excel better. So it's a misconception that you don't need a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we think that we can do it on our own, but we are not an island. We need people around us. And it's so funny. One of my clients just said, you know, how we talk about the 5 people you need to have be around you to really pull you. She says, Carol, you're one of my 5. And I'm so glad that I can be somebody's 5 because that's what I really help people do. Really, I'm serious about what I do. It's funny because just to say a little something about me, my dad was very serious and a great businessman. My mom was very joyful. So I got the best of the both worlds. So I know how to be really serious and I know how to be really joyful. So
and that's definitely what connected me to you, is that high energy of joy, you know, and effective communication is what's impactful. And
yeah.
so, Jen, when you were asking the question just now, I was thinking, so Carol, right? I'm going to ask the question, is it a one size fit all, right? Like we need more than one coach usually in different aspects of our lives, right?
Yeah.
So specializing in what you do, where does that help people hone in, whether it's their relationship or the business? Like as far as the people that you help, how does that work?
That's such a great question, because really what I do is really work on the self-image. A lot of times people are like trying to find the best strategy. However, if your self-image is broke, then the best strategy in the world is not going to work. So you really need to be honed in. And that's why I really say I help people, teach people how to think, you know, think for themselves and, you know, really be courageous, confident, and really clear. A lot of times people are not integrity with what they say they're going to do. And so I help them really be integrity and say, you've been saying this for a long time. Let's just get it nailed down and let's do it. You know, really am big on habits. Habits is what got me here. 5 years ago, my friend said, Carol, if you change your morning routine, you'll change your life. My life doesn't look like anything it did 5 years ago. And so that I'm a real big believer in habits. I wake up at 4:30 every morning. Today, I even woke up at 4 o'clock. And I do a certain amount of habits for about an hour and a half, really habits of mindset and really being clear, and my prayers and things like that really keep me going. And I really seriously do wake up every day excited about the day. You know, I feel like every day is a gift. You know, we
Right.
see so many things,
Absolutely.
devastating things happening, and like if you're got your health, you've got everything. And so it's just it's all about attitude. Attitude is key in life.
Yeah. And then the actions that follow, right? Because those are the only 2 things we can control.
That's
Our
right.
attitude and our
Yep.
activities, right?
Yep.
And I
That's
think
really
some
all
people
we can
think that we can't, right? We can't
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
it, but we can.
Yeah. You can't control somebody else's as much as we'd like to.
Right. You only control yourself.
We
Yes,
only
I've
control
learned that in
ourselves.
48 years of marriage.
Oh my, congratulations. Ooh,
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
like 32, so I'm like thinking, wow, 48. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Super exciting. Yeah, and so effective communication in relationships, whether it's your business or your spouse, you know, my thing is your words are your world because they start in your head first. And they can actually be the destroyer. Your words can be your destroyer of dreams, or it can be that building platform to create your destiny, right? And I
Exactly.
like the latter better.
And I think a lot of people hesitate, and that's, you know, because they don't feel confident inside, like, and so they roll in their mind and like, so, and that's where I really help them push them into their greatness. Just to share one testimony with one of my clients, she was so adamant about really getting ownership of her life. She had very low self-esteem. Her boss always was critical to her. you know, the energy in the room was really hard. And so finally, when I helped her to take ownership, she really soared. And today she now has just done her ribbon cutting for her own business. So not only did she take ownership of her life, now she owns her own business. That is amazing.
That's the power of that transformation,
But see,
especially.
she did the action steps I told her to do. She was faithful. So there is, you know, in coaching, it's great, but I'm not the one going to be solving the problems. I'm going to guide you and I'm going to inspire you, but the work has to be with you.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, when you're in the forest, you know, it's being in the forest for the trees, right? Where you can't see it, and having somebody outside of you. And then I heard, you know, I myself have about 3 coaches right now, you know, at any given time, because I need 3 areas that I want to conquer.
Sure.
I'm going to say that's a lot. It gets to be overwhelming. So I'm trying to pare down to like 1 at a time. But I heard that I'm in good company because Tiger Woods has about 3 coaches too.
Yeah,
So,
Oprah Winfrey has 4.
oh, wow. See? So,
Mhm.
you know, we
Yeah.
need it. It's kind of, you know, I worked in the medical industry before I achieved my freedom to get to my going forward for my goals to flourish, right? And I think when people think of coaches, they don't realize that, you know, you get to work on this part of yourself, 1 or 3 or 4 parts of your personal self and your business self, so that this way you can grow. Because it's kind of like, I worked for an orthopedic group. There were 22 orthopedic doctors in one group. They were not in competition with each other. You know why? Because one specialized in the hand, one specialized in the elbow, the cervical spine, the foot, podiatry. And I'm going to tell you, no one who had neck problems wanted to book with a podiatrist for procedure. And so I liken that to coaching as well, because it's that mindset. And when you're working with your mind, you get to exercise the area that's most important. Well, what you're telling yourself, and this is why I love Carol, is having that high performance of what's going on in your brain to what comes out of your mouth.
Yes.
If anybody's ever experienced putting their foot in their mouth, know how important this is, right? And building that courage and confidence. So I love that you said that, the courage and the confidence, so that as we get clearer, right?
Yes. And one of the things I really, really, really love to do, I could do with my eyes closed. I love it so much because I have been in Toastmasters for 10 years. I've seen speeches, I've done speeches. I really love to help people with their message. I work a lot of times for the people in BNI because they have to do a presentation. And so I really teach them how to make it more effective, more powerful, and take out some of the technical stuff and maybe that emotional stuff that is really going to capture that person. We live on emotions. We buy on emotions. So that's really important. I just love that. I helped one girl. She was going to a yoga school, and if you would have seen her PowerPoint, it was blah, but we changed the whole PowerPoint. We really made her come alive in her PowerPoint, and I think she got a really good grade. But I love that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you just made a really good point. Is 2 things for me. 1, if we could learn this younger and younger, how it would really change the course of our lives. It's almost like, you know, if you had that compass and that dial, and it's 1 degree changed by learning this when you're young, whoo, how far people would get, you know, and how much faster they would get there. And the other piece is, because kids learn from us as adults, the parents are constantly modeling. And so which way do you want to model for your kids? It's a choice. It really is a choice. So I absolutely love how impactful this can be in our day-to-day, and starting from there. So we really appreciate you sharing this with us today. I don't know if there's any tips that you would like to leave.
Well, yes, I would. You know, they have some tips.
Well, we will take the coaching today. We give permission.
Oh my gosh, it's just so fun. It's just, life is so good. Life is what you make it. One of the tips is definitely attitude. You got to have a great attitude about yourself. I think that is really, really important. Always hone in. I'm always aware of like when I don't show up the way I want to, why, what's going on, and really be clear on what it is. And here's another huge tip. Okay, we all have paradigms. Some are good, some are not so good, right? And what they really are, they're fixed habits inside our subconscious mind. And so a lot of times we are working on our conscious mind when we need to be working on our subconscious mind. Because, when from 1 to 7, we learn things from our parents, from our grandparents, and those have been fixed in our mindset. And so a lot of times you have to really do a lot of things, which I like to say repetition. Repetition is key in any kind of really goals that you want. Sometimes it's like there's this really good book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's really good, but he talks about in there, we're doing the steps day in and day out, and sometimes it seems boring and mundane. However, if we stay with it, we will reap the personal growth, just like if it would be you would reap money. And that's so important. That's happened to me, like in my own habit building. I have reaped so many things because of staying in the game and not really, and that's really where people go get really off track. Well, this is not working, I'm going to stop. And they lose their miracle. And that's just like even people in Toastmasters. I've seen people come in and come out of Toastmasters like quickly, and they didn't stay for their miracle. So we have to stay for our miracle in our habits and just keep doing them. And that's something I'll say for the rest of my life, that just get and do those habits. You just never know. And spend the time on yourself. Jim Rohn said, work harder on yourself than your job. When you do that, life gets better. And really, when you think about it, who are you doing this for? You're not even doing it for you. You're doing it for your family. I'm doing it for my girls. I'm doing it to create a legacy for the future life for anybody that comes around and create a ripple effect. I could go on and on how much I love what I do.
I love it. That ripple effect, I call it collateral goodness that happens in the world when you expose everybody to that good. And I love it. I love that you quoted Jim Rohn. By the way, for our listeners, Jim Rohn is Jimron, right? Right. No, Jim Rohn, Rohn.
Yeah, awesome.
Sorry, Rohn, Jim Rohn. YouTube him. So some of these things are free. And Darren Hardy, I'm on his email list.
Yeah, he's great.
And his videos are just super amazing. And so this is the way, so we get to be indoctrinated with information. And I say that like that on purpose. What information are you going to allow the indoctrination of, so that from that information, you can formulate your attitude and your activities, is so super key. So I love that you brought up those two. They're some of my like at the top of my all-time favorites, especially for people who worry and stress. Jim Rohn has Kick the Worry Habit YouTube out there for all you angsters and doubters, and well, you want to get to being the dreamers. I listened to him for 15. I tell this joke, Carol, I'm going to tell you and Jen just for fun with our audience, because somebody out there probably needs to hear this today. Suffering depression, angst, probably most of my life, for like 300 days out of every year, is tough. And when you create the words and work with a coach like Carol, you can break through faster. And so 6, 8 weeks, whatever it takes, or a few months, with Jim Rohn, listening to it on my own, because I didn't have a coach like Carol, it took about somewhere between 15 to 18 months. And I tease and I joke. My husband was totally okay, because I went to bed with Jim and I woke up with Jim every night and every morning, because I put him in my ears, because thank God we have these new things called ear pods that we get to listen in. And so my husband didn't have to suffer listening, but he did see the changes. So if you don't want to take 15 months or 18 months or a year or even a half year, definitely reach out to Carol to create that shift, because the faster you do it, the collateral goodness effect, the ripple effect is phenomenal. So with that, and since we're having so much fun, Jen, if you had any other thoughts or questions for her.
I just appreciate I work with a lot of lawyers, and they often are the ones who are saying, I don't need coaching because I'm smart and I can do this myself. So I appreciate that was your first misconception. I don't need coaching, because I also have, 2 or 3 coaches at any given time. And so to the high performing or high level professions out there, you need a coach too, just if you're listening.
Exactly.
It makes
It'll change your life.
Yes,
It will totally change your life. And it's
changing your life. So What's one fun, fabulous?
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for
Friday?
this question. I'm so excited. The one fun fact about me, you guys are not going to believe this. So one day I decide I am going to go to Target, and in the parking lot, there was somebody selling his CDs. I said, hey, how would you like to be my videography? And this was June, and this is actually just last June. So I walk into the grocery store of Target and I start singing Jingle Bells. I even had an audience. I had people look at me like, what is she doing? But nobody stopped me. And I just said at the end, I am giving you some Christmas cheer in June.
Oh, how fun.
That is a
So
fun
I
fact.
always do things out of my box. I'm always growing in my courage. I'm a skydiver. I'm a zip liner. I went to a foreign country. I mean, I'm just always trying to get, whatever I need to do to break that courage. So, because if I want to be courageous to break my client's courage, I have to do it first.
Mm-hmm.
That's my philosophy.
It's so true.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I want to say thank you because you said something earlier, and then breaking the courage or taking the courage, because courage is taken just like leadership. It's taken, it's not given. You get to take courage.
Exactly.
Right? And we get to. So this is something we can actually take and nobody will get mad at us, right? Because the more we do it, the more they get to do it. And the more that creates each and every one of us. You said this earlier, stepping into your greatness. That was my very first coach, and how I got the shift to just really take the leap of faith, become Mama Rita, my alter ego, and have fun with her being me being her, and just meeting fabulous women like my cohort in the TMI world here for today's motivational insights, Jen, and to bring amazing women like you, Carol, today to share these skills so that each person out there can level up and step into their greatness. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor being here. I just love to share my message and out to the world. And I love the fact that we just got on a call yesterday and you said, can you come on? I said, why not? That's what I'm learning too. Not hesitate, just go out there and share that message that people so need to hear.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And
Thanks,
get
Carol.
your gut into that intuition and look at the magic that happens, right? The magic and the miracles that happen.